हरि ओम तत्सत, हरि ओम तत्सत, हरि ओम तत्सत. I welcome you all in the second and final day of this virtual yoga retreat, and as usual we begin our second talk in succession with initial prayer. So to commence, please close your eyes. Still your body. Bring the awareness at eyebrow center and try to visualize a still point of light at the eyebrow center. Visualizing the point of light, we will chant all together Om for one time and then prayer repeated after me. Inhale deeply for Om chanting. सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. All together, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take a deep breath in, gently exhale, and slowly open the eyes. Welcome, and today we have another topic in the line of history of yoga which we had yesterday. Today we have another important topic, which is lifestyle according to yoga or yogic lifestyle. Both terms connote the same sense. Unlike history of yoga, one thing, as I said yesterday also I said, I would choose to speak yoga in place of yoga. Today also I will use throughout my speech yoga and yoga and yoga, and you understand when I say yoga, it is yoga that commonly we use. So unlike history of yoga, lifestyle according to yoga is more concrete, more deciding, more exact, and also quite logical. It does not have much doubts, but it has so many kinds of opinion because yoga is a multi-dimensional topic. So in this short time we can't cover all the different talks, but whatever we can, we will try to go through this. The very first thing which we just take a note for some moment in the beginning is about lifestyle. What is the meaning of lifestyle? The very simple meaning of lifestyle, the literal sense which can be is way of living. one's own way of living is one idea, and another idea is how each one of us as humans need to live. We have lots of education about it from society, family, university, colleges, schools, teachers, lots of ideas we have, and we live life according to that. But sometimes, depending upon circumstances, they don't supply and provide us with sufficient information. Into those circumstances, we seek to go beyond and find out what is something else which we need to have. So, lifestyle, when it is joined with yoga, becomes more significant. So, when we say lifestyle according to yoga, the term, we mean what the seers of yoga or the wise of the past and the present have been able to see the reality from their higher level of consciousness, and what they have now decided for all of us, which can be helpful in our life to transcend our limitations and barriers. That becomes lifestyle according to you. And when we begin to live our life according to that, our life becomes more worth, our values become more significant, and our individual presence becomes very effective. And this has been proven true in the life of many, many great people. I am not going to discuss the names of all those people, but some of the information which I have received from those people in my study, in my meetings with those people, and whatever I have been able to receive, I'm just going to express here. Now, how we enter into yoga is one idea, but each one of us has some immediate needs. For example, some people have problems in life. For example, if you ask about me, I had physical problems, which was too much for me. That slowly brought me into yoga. There are many examples of people who came into yoga for different kinds of situation. I remember about one yogi who was from childhood very bright, but eventually he was able to get beyond these family ties, family affection, because of his stepmother. He evolved, he became a great, great soul, a very enlightened being. There are so many examples about it. So what is our immediate need can also be one of the most important deciding factors that can lead us towards life of yoga, or life that has to be lived according to the ideas of yoga. We can begin with this. The very first thing, in common parlance, if you look at each one of us, we require some kind of physical stability. So we can begin like in the modern time how we practice yoga. You ask anybody, do you go to yoga? Yes, I do yoga. I do this Ashtanga, I do this and that. So you can see, so some physical trainings, which is very common and many people like it, that we can begin with. In yoga, we also have that training, but it's not like what we have in our gym and fitness center. But what we have in yoga can be also incorporated there. Like asana we can do. There are various kinds of asana that we can do. Pranayama we can do also. Breathing is very important part of our Yogic culture. It has so many benefits. So little bit of physical movements, little bit of pranayama you can do, and some level of mindfulness we can say practices. Nowadays it's very common, popular. These are very simple practices which you can find and learn from any teachers that can fulfill our immediate needs, but this is not the end of our needs. It is just somehow you slip into this domain of you. Sometimes we go to market to buy something, and suddenly we see a good teacher is talking about some spiritual thing, and we just get stuck over there. So when we enter into yoga with something according to our needs, it also pulls us towards something higher and greater. This has been the history of so many people. And other thing that we can do, apart from physical culture, maintaining awareness throughout the day. Awareness of what we are doing, how we are living, what we are talking about. That can be also checked and balanced if we have become aware of our patterns and behaviors. So in common parlance, a very simple idea is this. You can go with this some kind of physical training for our needs, and some kind of mindfulness act, yoga of, you can call it yoga of awareness, that we can live. It's a very general idea. Now, I slowly go ahead towards something more specific here. Now, for the sake of deciding what is more important from what kind of people and for whom, we need to look into it a bit deeper. So when I was trying to find about it in some deciding way, I find a very important verse, very important hint in one of the Upanishads, very important. It is called Kathopanishad, Katha Upanishad. It's a great dialogue between Lord of Death, Yamaraj, and a very young boy, Nachiketa. Grand dialogue. Whenever you have time, you can just have a look on that. So, Lord of Death and Nachiketa, they had conversation together. In their conversation, the Lord of Death speaks about two different kind of people. Shreyas, Preyas. The word he uses, Shreyas, Preyas. Shreyas. It is a path which is connected to sense control, mind control, enlightenment. This is one category. Shreya path, the path of Shreya, higher path. There are some people in the world who long to follow that path. For example, Buddhist monk. From childhood, children are sent there for their training. Many people are in the world, from childhood they are of that temperament. Second, preyas, preyamar. People who seek pleasures of life, who want to live life of pleasure, which is also fine. So most of us like that, are like that. We all want pleasures of life, we all want success, we all want worldly things, which is also something in yoga which has been confirmed. But that has not been very much highlighted because yoga looks at things from different perspective. Yoga talks about reality, non-reality. For us, reality is also important, and also unreality is also important. Unreality and reality, according to you, not according to me, according to you. So, one is Shreya, path of renunciation, path of concentration, which is a bit higher. Second is Preya. Now, Upanishad talks about these two. Third, I have added by myself when I was making the document about it. Third, I have made by myself. And that third is people in the middle somewhere, partially in the path of concentration and partially in the path of material pleasure. And many of us are like that nowadays. Some are struggling. So quite a few number of people who follow the path of renunciation, meditation, and majority who long to go for pleasures of life, of senses. And there are some people, few people, who are struggling on the way somewhere, partially in this path, partially in the path of renunciation, and partially they fall for pleasures. Some are also like that. So these three kind of people, entire humanity can be categorized, right? Now, so for the first kind of people, Shreya, the higher path, there is no guideline from my part. There is no guideline from anybody in the world except the great teacher that he has to meet or who he will meet at some point of time. And whatever he guides, whatever he says, whatever he brings to him, that becomes his lifestyle. So for the first number of people, there is no guideline in this conversation. It's a higher guideline. They must seek great teacher. They must follow a great teacher. That is the only thing that has to go, that will help them in the long run. Otherwise, they will be confused. So for that temperament, look for great teachers and they guide you. For the second and third category of people, there are some guidelines. And that guidelines are very important. And me, some of you, and many of us belong to these second and third category. Either we want worldly life, or sometimes we become meditative. We go to Vipassana courses, we go to yoga trainings, and then suddenly boyfriend, girlfriend calls, and then again we go back to our country and go about place of life. So most of us are into these two categories, and we fall into that. And for us, yoga provides some mechanisms. So for these two category of people, in order that they may be able to fulfill their life, whatever they are trying to achieve, there are a few things as a part of education we all must be aware of, which I have found very beneficial. First, very first, education. Education of one's own existence. Education about the cosmic existence. And third, knowing and valuing the importance of each and everything around. And the fourth one, goal of human life, purpose of human life. These four things are very important. I believe, I suggest in your room, in your house, keep these 4 points stuck on the wall somewhere. Every day, look at that. One's own existence, universe, how it's composed. Third, everything important around. Everything is important. Every aspect of creation is important. And the fourth one, I repeat, purpose of human life. These 4 are the key words, everybody, key terms we all have to be a little bit aware of. What we want, pleasures of life. What we want, sense gratification. What we want, worldly things. Nice. What we want, some meditation. What we want, some yoga. What we want, pleasures of life. Also fine. So, in our study of yoga, we learn about these things also. According to yoga, we say human existence is not one layered. Nowadays, what do you understand? We have the body, that's fine. No, yoga says no. Body, what we see outside is one layer of reality. It has other layers. Second layer is called mind. And third layer is called the seed of our own existence, which brings mind, which brings body also. So in the term of yoga, we say physical body, in English, physical body, astral body, and the causal body. These 3 layers we have. Now, how to prove that? The body is proven already. We have this hands and feet, whatever you can see, head, mouth, stomach, chest. Mind we all feel. Our thought process, how we think, what makes us behave, it is one layer of existence. And third one, when we feel satisfaction, we drink water and we feel satisfaction. Something happens to us, and we feel happiness. It's one part of existence. So these 3 layers are our existence, and our satisfaction of life can be complete only when these three layers are harmonized. Even if we want to live material life, very clearly. Right now, I am not talking about a spiritual life. I'm talking about simple life in a more successful way. These three layers must be remembered. And plus these three layers, one is soul, which is a debatable talk, but according to you, we have to consider our existence is three layered, and our reality is the fourth one, the fourth dimension. So there is no pleasure there, there is no pain there. There is just unattached state of awareness, which also is our essential need. Then we go to see universe. What makes the individual existence also makes the cosmic existence. We know five elements, senses, gross motor organs, mind, they all make the individual human body. What existence? Similarly, creation of universe also is made of the same elements. Beautifully, I have put in the text which you will receive after my talk is complete, the idea from Shiva Samhita, how universe is composed, how the great God gets desire, from desire comes ignorance, and then comes Brahma, the creator, and from Brahma emanates so many other things. It also then comes five subtle elements, five gross elements, which make the entire creation. So what is going to make the individual reality is the same element goes to make the entire cosmic phenomenon. So what is in the universe around, they all are created from the same element which I am made of, you are made of. And third thing, respecting, valuing everything around. For example, we see ant, small ant. It has no value, no space, slight mind. We may kill it. We may disvalue it because we don't know the presence of an ant. We don't know about it. A small bird flying in this space, a drop of ocean. Now, it is difficult to know everything in the world, but it is very easy to accept whatever has been created is not created by humans only, by animals only, because after all, even if we become sometimes big creator and we make so many new things, but the basic things which we require to make or manufacture anything comes from here and here only. Nothing in the world has been created by humans without having taken something or many things from the same universe. We haven't been able to create a new thing so far. So what is here has been with a great purpose created and kept here. So we need to respect everything around. This is good for us. Here lies so much of happiness, so much of peace. And the fourth one, purpose of human life. According to Yoga, we say purpose of human life is enlightenment, liberation, freedom from birth and death. For example, if you know you have one life and that's it, what will happen then? We may go through restlessness. Oh my God, only one life, few years only. But when you have the idea that life is a chain of process, it does not end so easily. It is now in this way, it's going in this way, and then over the period of time, something else may begin. I am not taking any one of you into a belief system, but simply I am telling you that The process of enlightenment, liberation is something that requires a series of fulfillment. Why would I look for enlightenment? Why not for prayers of life? I can go for prayers of life because that's what I want now. That's why in yoga you say, life continues. In different forms, life continues and we go through fulfillments. These four things which I have found important that I am talking about now is very important. If you look at the series of these four things, it gives so much of balance within our mind. And if you have the idea of these four things, it is very easy for us to decide now what we have. Very easy. Now, once we know our existence is just not one layer, do we think by eating only, by sleeping only, or by doing lots of work only our life can be fulfilled? I read somewhere about Steve Jobs, who became big businessman, Apple, about Apple company. He died of pancreatic cancer, and when he was dying, he was helpless because he tried all his ways to help his treatment, to help his health. It didn't come because it was limitation. He couldn't do it. He couldn't handle it. And he said his health became poor. He got cancer or any kind of health problem that became incurable was because he was too much lost in the work. Too much. He writes about it. You can always find about it. So had he become aware of other things also, peace also, relaxation also, he wouldn't engage himself into this big jungle of work. And remember, life is not here to make 5 companies, 60 companies. If we want to do, we can do it. But know for very sure, by making 60 companies or 100 companies, life can never be fulfilled. We need money, we need success, we need work, not like a horse and donkey. There must be a limitation. So these 4 things have to be in the mind all the time. Existence is 3 layered. Remember. Now once we know our whole existence, 3 layered existence, we must design our lifestyle, our life. So all these 3 layers of existence are taken care of. If we skip one thing, if we leave one thing, there will become an imbalance. And however hard we may try, it won't be fulfilling. I remember one man from Australia who had asthma. And that asthma came into his life from childhood through misbehaves of a maid servant, which his parents kept for him. And when he became young, asthma became worse. He went everywhere according to his approach for treatment. Nothing could heal him because the stress and trauma gave this asthma symptoms. And somehow he was lucky. He met Swami Satyanand, who was physically alive, and through his trainings, meditation and relaxation, somehow that trauma got released and his asthma became cured. And nowadays, he's a very famous healer. He's from Australia, very famous healer. So in the body, he was suffering, but the problem was somewhere kept. And when he came to you, he knew about it. He always had holistic health. He talks about that. Holistic health simply means body, mind, causal layer, and etc. Now, so in order to be able to mold these 3 things, 3 layers of existence, quite a few things we must be able to remember to mold all these 3 layers. Number 1, what is very important for us is health of 3 layers: physical health, astral health, and causal health. So every word which I am using now is important for all of us at all these 3 layers. So first comes health. Second comes efficiency, our own efficiency. Third comes moderate approach. Fourth is intelligent or right choice. And the fifth one is limitation. The first thing is health. We must be very careful about our health. And now at this time into this COVID-19, all of us know what is the fear now? Health. What's the reason? Human unwell way of living. And what we are doing? Save ourselves from a kind of virus. Entire world is shut now. We are talking online because we have received health hazards. Something we can't avoid, but something definitely we can mold. Health perspective. Now, for health reasons, we have so many things. Ayurveda, quite ancient, modern treatment, homeopathy, naturopathy, solar therapy, acupressure, many kinds of health opinions have been given. But in yoga, health is just byproduct of lifestyle according to yoga. So in whatever capacity you live, wherever you live, your everything must be decided on the basis of how it is going to keep your health protected. Many students I know, when I was living in Europe, many people I came across, they were burned out. They overworked. For what? To pay taxes. For what? To make big houses. For what? To make big companies. What life? What life is this? So health must be prime importance. Very careful. Every individual must be careful of health. Whatever you do, you go to work, you make a study, you open company, you open business, whatever you do, it must not hamper your health at all. First. Second, efficiency. Choose work, choose study where your efficiency is going to manifest the best. Many people, they are good at arts, painting, literature, study, but somehow they go to science and they struggle over there. Some people want to study psychology and they go to study engineering and they struggle. Some want to travel and then they open a shop, they struggle. So our efficiency can be best manifested only when we are rightly placed at the right situation and for the right activity. So our activities, way of living must not hamper our efficiency. Second. And third, moderate approach. Remember, in the world, there is nothing like best. The most beautiful, so far I haven't seen. The most handsome, I have not seen. The most beautiful place, I have not. There is no such thing as superlative. Everything is comparative. So our approach, because of that, must be moderate. Sometimes we lose our balance. We engross too much into activities, or we become too much into rest, too much into activity, too much into all kinds of things. That is not nice. Because ultimately in this life, whatever you are going to achieve, one day you have to leave. Even if you do not want to, one day you will leave. One day I will leave. So there is no end to success. There is no end. So whatever you may say, ask Bill Gates how much he has earned. And if he is calm, the answer is no. still he has so many things to do. So you must know there is nothing like highest or much higher. Just try to stay very moderate. Very moderate. There must be, I'll further tell more ideas about it. Beyond that is intelligent choices, right choice. For example, when we go to yoga nowadays, if you think about Google about yoga, what comes? Astanga, Iyengar, Bikram, hot, power, chill, spice, got, and not beer yoga also. Many things are available. Google about it in the internet. Now, do we require all of them? Do we need that? It is about yoga, I'm telling you. Study about yoga nowadays, what is available. In the same way, about everything in life, we have to understand things in the same way. So whatever available things we have, from that we have to pick something that is important for us, good for us. For example, many of my friends, students, when they were studying, when they come to study, they speak about their personal desires and feelings. They always say that they have whatever they have, but they want this particular thing. I asked why. Said, because it makes me feel happy. Other person said, it will give me more money. Third person will say, oh, it gives me a chance to explore myself. So there are so many things. Essentially, you have to see how it is going to help you. So from so many things available, we have to receive, take out, or select something very right for us. And last one is limitation. Our desires, our accumulation should not be that much that world is not big enough to preserve. There must be a pause, a limitation. That more than this, beyond this, is too much. Sometimes too much. It becomes like overeating. How much can we eat? Stomach full. We cannot eat today for 5 years later. In the same way, we have to keep a kind of limitation into this. Definite limitation. Now it's enough. Oh, that's enough. Oh, that's too much. We must be aware of that. These quite a few things which I have mentioned here are very important that we have to keep in our mind if we decide to live our life according to yogic culture. Now I go further ahead. Here I just put a simple daily practices. A very simple, usually anybody, either he is a yogi or he is an un-yogi or he is anti-yogi or he is just a very beginner, a few things he must be aware of and he must little bit do. Number one, mantra chanting. Mantra is not any religious thing or any cult or faith I am talking about. Mantra has their own sound vibrations and they affect. So every one of us should get some kind of mantra from some teachers, which we should do morning when we wake up. We don't have much things to do. Instead of calling somebody or going to Facebook and Instagram early in the morning, just take 5 minutes time, 20 minutes time, get one mala, chanting beads, and just do one mala, at least one mala, slowly. We know the whole process, and then we should do mantra chanting. Mantra chanting is a great way to take away the dross in the human mind. It relaxes also. If it is done rightly, it calms down the human mind very easily. We require that. So beginning with that, just little mantra chanting is very helpful for us. Second, some kind of physical movements. If you know some kind of gym work also you should do, physical fitness. Or if you have learned some asanas, I'm not talking about too many asanas, some important asana which is good for our joints and system of the body that we must do. Some kind of pranayama we must do, little bit breathing techniques, some art of relaxation that we should do. In the daytime also, take half an hour time, 20 minutes time just to relax. And also, when we go to bed, sleeping hours, at that time also, we need to do quite a few things, especially what I would suggest when you go to bed. It's a very important thing when you go to bed. Close the eyes and reflect whatever has happened throughout the day. It's very important. Very important. Just try to live the experience of the whole day, whatever has happened. According to yoga, we say, through 5 senses, we receive experiences. They become memories, and these memories guide our pattern. But when we become conscious of the activities while being wakeful, they become less powerful. Or when we become conscious of the memory that we have about the experience, they become less powerful. So a very simple technique is, before going to bed, leave the whole day experience of whatever we have learned. Now, time is getting shorter. I go to our practical lifestyle. In practicality, what we can do, one topic is this, and then I go to some point from Yoga Sutra Patanjali, and then we will see some more points we can discuss whatever time is available for us. Now, few things very important here now in our daily practice. First, what time we wake up? Either you are a yogi or anybody, always wake up early in the morning. We don't wake up early in the morning because we are lazy, because we sleep late nights, we watch movies, televisions, and sleep at 2 a.m. in the morning. Both have to be avoided. Wake up early in the morning. Very much important. It is for good for health also. There is no study which can tell you you sleep late and you become healthy. Sometimes we are physically sick, mentally sick, we require long sleep, which is fine. But in our usual day, you must wake up early. What time? I don't say, because it may not be happy news for everybody, but the earlier the better. In yoga, we say from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. it's a very high time for meditation, which if you wish, you can do that. Otherwise, the earlier the better. And you wake up, drink water, fresh yourself, and begin some practical lifestyle, asana, pranayama, meditation, whatever you know, mindfulness, mantra chanting, whatever we have known in yoga, we must practice, because 1 ounce of practice is higher than tons of theories, said Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh. So whatever is practically possible, we must do. Second, going to bed also very early. You can be awake early in the morning only when we go to bed early. What time you should go to bed? Let's say I talk about it. It's not too bad to know. I believe from 10 to 10:30 you must be on the bed. I'm not saying 9 a.m. but 10 to 10:30 the last is. Beyond 10:30 is not good for health. So 10 to 10:30, I would just say we go to bed. Plus 6 hours you count. Maximum plus 7 hours. 8 hours, if you are very sick, you can do this. But 10:30 plus 6 hours, that is time you can be wakeful. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, working hours, they must be organized. Breakfast, after whatever practice we do, we take breakfast light, always food vegetarian. I reiterate, I stress about it, and I decide about it. Just I'm little bit over enthusiastic now. Vegetarian diet or whatever food you have available. Breakfast after yoga practices, lunch, early lunch, 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Difficult to hear, but if you have a long practice, 5 hours, 6 hours, it's different. But if we have a 1 hour practice, 90 minutes training, then breakfast, you have a long time to eat. So lunch, heavy lunch, early, until 11 o'clock, dinner, you must have until 7 o'clock, beyond 7, dinner not okay, because when you go to bed, stomach must be light. Food must be that. The food must cross the stomach and must go to intestine. Then only you should go to, because in the heavy stomach, we can't enjoy good sleep. So when you go to bed, food must be over. So you have to eat early, definitely. Our working hours must also be organized. Many people nowadays are stuck into long work, 8-hour work, full-time job that Europe and West has created. It's also in India. I do not see it very important. They have done it. They can do it. It's going on. But so many people have been unwell because of too much of work pressure. 8-hour work, 2-hour test going and coming. So how much time is left for us? So you have to make a right choice. Again, the word right choice here. You have to make a right choice about work also. That is not going to kill your lot of time. Must be able to find a good work. If employment becomes a problem for you, become self-employment. Open small shop, whatever you can. But work must not be a problem. Work must not overlap all your pleasures. Work must not become your be all and end all of life. It is never. Work means work that brings us money. So for money or for getting money, we must not involve into too much of work. Simply, I mean this. Whatever better work we can find, we should do it. During work hour also, we must be careful that when you feel stressed, when you feel heavy, too much, we must skip for some time to calm down, because we are unaware of ourselves, that we don't know what's happening with us. Stress, anxiety, suffocation comes and you're working. No. Careful all the time. The moment pressure comes, ease the same moment, immediately. Right kind of food, vegetarian food, I repeat again. And then fasting, once in a month. Yesterday I only ate porridge, morning porridge, evening porridge. It was nice experience. So fasting has a big science, but once in a month, live only on fruits and vegetables, nothing else. If it is possible, live only on juice. And if you live on juice, you must, sometimes it causes some kind of constipation, so you must take enema. You can learn from somebody how to take enema. Enema clears out the large intestine. So fasting with juice must be followed by enema. If you take fruits, it becomes it is little bit more with the stuff, so we have clear motion. If you take some kind of porridge and we live on that, it's also enough. It has some weight. So once in a while, you must give your digestive process, an entire metabolic process, little bit holiday, and this is very good for us, right? And now we go to little bit above in our culture of yoga according to Yoga Sutra. That's very important to know about it, because Even if we live a material life, our existential reality doesn't become lost. It's always available to us. So all of you, those who have come to study yoga, they all know about it. Yoga Sutra chapter 1, verse number 1, 2, 3, 4. These four are very important verses. It talks about, number 1 talks about disciplines of yoga. Our life must be disciplined. It must not be all free. It must not be like that. It must have injunction and some kind of barriers within which we live. And we have to make it for ourselves. Nobody can teach us to take shower. It's my body, it's our body, skin, it has to be clean. In the same way, our discipline has to be made by ourselves. If we have to be appearing nice, we must make it nicer. Number 1. Sutra number 2, control of chitta is yoga. Mental concentration, it has to be practiced. We can't leave the mind free. If we leave it free, it will be problematic for us. So something we must do. You can learn from teachers, they will guide you. And 3rd, tada dastu sarupe avasthana. Witness. Life events are throwing to us, for example, COVID-19, locked in the house. If you think about problems, we go crazy. What we have to do? In silence, witness. Whatever is happening around us, whatever is happening with us, they are just changing phenomena. This COVID will end. It is true. COVID is not the ultimate truth of human life. It's now, it will pass. But so long as COVID exists, we have to be convinced that we are the witness. This is not affecting us. It's happening, it has a limitation, it has a time, it will pass. And the 4th one, if we become affected with sarupa itaratra, else our mind become occupied. So that we have to be very much careful about. We don't have to be falling towards that. So try to maintain a kind of witness attitude about things around, what's happening to us. It's a practical training and we have to learn it. Now, same Yoga Sutra, chapter 1, verse number 33, very important. It is talking about attitudinal guidelines. We interact with so many people. Not everybody is of one kind. They have various behaviors. So we say our attitude must be certain. When we meet, come across or interact with certain kind of people. For example, in general, we should be friendly to anybody. In general, we must inculcate, we must imbibe, and we must establish and look after friendliness that we have, and it must be used towards everybody. But not everybody can be our friend. Some people are miserable for some reasons. We must have some kind of mercy and compassion for those people. Miserable people, for some reasons in their life, something happened which made them miserable. So we must show some kind of mercy towards them. Some people are virtuous, very good they are very nice. We must be glad about it. Oh, I met a nice man. So we must express our gladness towards virtuous people. And some people are very difficult. For some reasons, they are controlled by their passions, their difficult desires, which limits them. So in those kind of people, things are happening very rapidly and very complex. They're very complex. So if we come across those kind of people, and if we live among them, how we live? We live indifferent. We try not to interact much, or if we have to, we maintain our awareness that that complex is not going to affect. We must be aware of that. So these four attitudes with four different kind of people, we must inculcate and we practice. What's result of that? Maharishi Patanjali says, Chitta Prasadam. It pacifies the mind. It brings to you peace. And you can experience this. In my life, at some point of time, I have realized the truth of this verse. So 133 is very important. Now we go to 229. It talks about 8 limbs of yoga: yama, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So samadhi is the goal. I told you already, you must remember the purpose of human life. Samadhi means higher goal is liberation. So at least our material life, whatever we are living, it must be lived according to certain disciplines, so our health, peace of mind is not affected. Samadhi may not come. Control of mind may not come. But at least mental problem don't come. Physical health is maintained. So that can be possible only when these things are yama, niyam, etc. are maintained. So 8 limbs you must remember and try to see what we can practice, how much we can do. You go ahead again, 230, 230, it talks about 5 yam, 5 yamas, universal code, truthfulness, non-injury, etc. Then we go further ahead. If it is possible for us, further you go ahead, 232, verse number 32, Sutra number 32, chapter 2, talks about niyamas, cleanliness, contentment, etc. These 5 niyamas. So whatever is applicable for us, not fully, partially also, one of these, half of these, whatever is possible, we can use that. And then if you go to 2.33, very important, very, very important, it says, Vitarka badhane patipaksha bhavana. Talks about contrary thought. For example, somebody does something to you which makes you very angry. Now, anger is a wave in your chit, in your mind. Anger is always bad. It always makes you sad. It burns you. To save yourself, what you can do? Immediately think something nice that the same person has done, or something nice that somebody has done to you. Instead of being boiled about it within yourself, it is always important. Just think about opposite thing. From anger, think about happy mood, happy moments. It's work. It's a bit challenging work, but the sage suggests us that opposite thoughts has to be entertained, and it's going to help us. And then if you further go ahead into some other great text of yoga, like Sandilya Upanishad, Manu Smriti, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it also talks about so many yam and niyam. In Yoga Sutra, we have 5 yam, 5 niyam. If you read these texts, it has 10 yam, 10 niyam. Some of them also includes moderate diet, modesty, honesty, patience, compassion, forgiveness. So there are so many virtuous qualities. Whatever we find good, we must try to practice, inculcate. Remember, ultimately we have to forgive. Ultimately we have to accept. And ultimately we have to be friendly to everybody in the world. This is the only way. We have to be friendly to everybody in the world. That's the best. And now, some important thing which I have found very important in my life, and from my part I am adding it. And this is the last point which I am going to do now here. Number 1, and keep a note, I have already put in the text. Avoid ill will. Try maximum to avoid ill will with everybody. Second, never try to avoid on try to avoid prejudice. Don't try to be prejudiced. Try to avoid it. Third, always know that every individual in the world is somehow limited. Somehow there is some limitation. Nobody behaves bad if wisdom always flashes. So somebody has done, it is his limitation. And the fourth one, once in a while, try to do things for others. Whole life we do for ourselves. Sometimes, someday, once in a month, once in 6 months, once in a year at least, do things for others, help others. Just go and do what you do for yourself. Neighbor's garden, neighbor's house, just go and, hey, can I clean your house? Can I help you? It will establish some kind of great feeling within you. It will bring some oneness to whoever is around you. This will help you. And one thing, and the last thing I'm going to add here is about children, because in our life we have children. It's very important for us to take care of them. So for those children, I say a few things, that you must educate your children into yoga. For physical training, educate them Surya Namaskar and Sarvangasana, full stand and sun prostration. Second, in pranayam, must teach them alternate nostril breathing and humming bee breath. As a part of meditation, educate them into tratak, gazing at candlelight, and one mantra which a great yogi in India suggests is called Gayatri mantra. So educate them into Gayatri mantra, because if children in the house are disciplined, for parents, life is easier. So lifestyle doesn't include what you do for yourself. It also includes with whom you live and how do they live, and your way of living, your education also be helpful for your own family members and for others around. Altogether, yoga is all about oneness. So what we want for ourselves must be also available to others, and that's the way we have to live. And that is the idea of life according to yogic lifestyle. Some more points I haven't discussed, but I have left in my comment box, in my article here, which I will send you in the live video also. It's about health perspective according to Yoga Sutra. So you can go and have a look on that. It's a whole text into 2 paragraphs. You can have help from them. So altogether we have discussed so many. Our time is almost gone beyond. I'm sorry for getting delayed. There were some more points I couldn't complete. So thanks for joining, and we conclude this session with a short prayer, Om Shanti. Then I wish you good time with the coming classes. Thank you so much for being with us and giving us a chance to share our little information and knowledge, which can be helpful for me also, for you also, and for each one of us. Thank you so much. Close the eyes. Visualize a point of light at the eyebrow center. Visualizing the point of light, we shall chant Om for one time, and then Om Shanti all together. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. Gently open your eyes. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. I'm just trying to send the text. And yes. Thank you so much. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat and Hari Om Tat Sat.